Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Rachel Matthews, you're in my kitchen, and this is the third video in a series I'm doing on how to make a Nourish Bowl. So just a quick refresher if you're just coming in on this video. I've got tofu and my roasted veggies roasting in the oven right now. So there are six categories of foods you want to add to a Nourish Bowl. So I've got my protein in the tofu. I'm also going to have some more protein in some cashews in the sauce today that we're going to make. I've got my vegetables. I've got my quinoa, which is a whole healthy grain, carbohydrate. So I need three more categories. One of the categories is toppings. And so I'm gonna make a sauce that's gonna have spice, also other vegetables, also some cashew for more protein. And it's basically a non-dairy, not cheese sauce, but it reminds me of a cheesy sauce or a cheesy topping. So I call this my orange sauce or yellow sauce or not cheese sauce. But this is my recipe and I'm gonna post it with the video so you guys will have it. And I'm gonna follow along on my laptop. So that's what we're gonna make right now. We're gonna go ahead and make the sauce. I've got my ingredients out. I cleaned up a little bit between videos so that I've got wiped down my board. I've got my bowl for all the, this is like my compost bowl. Sometimes I use what I throw in here, the scraps, to make broth, but I just recently made a fresh batch of broth and I've got plenty of it in the refrigerator, so I don't need any right now. Instead, this will go into my compost in my garden. So I always have this handy nearby. I'm going to use a Vitamix. Here, can you guys see? There's the rest of what, there's my sink here, laptop, my Vitamix. You could use a high-speed blender, probably a Ninja would work, a Blendtec would work. A Cuisinart would probably work also. And then I've got the ingredients here. So let's get going. I'm gonna show it to you tonight. One of the ways to do this is to saute all the vegetables ahead of time, maybe roast the bell peppers. I am gonna toast the cashews just a little bit. I don't want to bring out some oxidized oils out of the cashews, but I am gonna toast them a little bit. You could also soak them. It makes them a little bit more creamy and a little bit softer. But it's all getting blended up. That's the way to make this with the best flavor and if you have the time. But as I'm showing you tonight, I'm making all steps from beginning to end all in one evening. So I don't really have the time to do that. Now, if I had roasted veggies in the refrigerator left over that I was gonna throw in a bowl, and I had some, maybe rice or barley or buckwheat, something that I had cooked earlier in the week, maybe I would spend the time to do that. But tonight I'm going fast and quick, and I want to show it to you that way because I want you to see that you can make this sauce by literally throwing all of these vegetables raw into the Vitamix. So I am not going to pre-cook my onion. I am not going to pre-cook the bell peppers or the carrots or the cashews other than toasting. What else is in there? And that's it. Okay. And I'm going to use broth, my homemade veggie broth, instead of water, just to add a bit more flavor. So here we go. First thing, I've got all my veggies washed and ready to go. It calls for 2 red peppers. Oh, and by the way, I'm not doing a bulk batch this time because I don't have enough bell peppers. I didn't think this through, and I don't have 4 bell peppers. I only have 3. So I'm just gonna do the basic recipe as it calls for. It calls for 2 red bell peppers. That gives it a lot of flavor, that bright color, but I have an orange and a red, so there we go. Okay, so when you're tossing this into your Vitamix, you don't have to cut it up or make it pretty or chop it in any special way, right? It just goes in. So here's my Vitamix. I'm gonna toss that into my refuse bowl, get all the seeds out. I just usually chop the head off and then I can dig out the insides. And I usually eat bell peppers as I go because it's so good. Okay. So, I don't know. I'm going to cut it in like 8s just so that it kind of leaves space for everything to get in there. There's the orange bell pepper. I'm just chopping the kind of corners off of the top. And really, gosh, I feel like I'm wasting some of that. I need to get more of that. Remember how you hold your knife? If you don't have one like this, get one. The rounded edge allows me to roll and kind of rock back and forth on the cutting board. Okay, bell peppers in. 1 carrot, it calls for 1 carrot. I'm gonna do 2 because these are kind of little guys. They're organic. They're from the mixed color, like rainbow carrots. So there's like white carrots and purple and orange, and look, it like matches my apron. But I'm gonna do 2 because they're kind of small. Now I don't shave these ahead of time. I just wash them and scrape them with a vegetable scrubber and a little bit of either just water, or I'll do a little bit of what's it called? Castile soap. The liquid, it's biodegradable and it's not gonna be harmful if you have any left over, and it's better for the environment than some harsh chemical. So I don't scrape it. You can leave the skins on. And I'm just gonna chop it up a bit. I'm not gonna put the ends in, though you could just blend those right up, because these are good little things for my compost. So there's the carrot. Calls for 1/4 to 1/2 of an onion. I think I'm gonna go ahead and do 1/2 of an onion. And my son will be happy. I'm leaving him 1/2 an onion because he likes to saute up onion for his breakfast every morning. So I'll save this aside. All right, there's my onion. Now it calls for 8 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. Okay, I keep my nutritional yeast. I will buy it in bulk, and then I keep it in a container in the pantry. I'm sure you've heard of it. If you haven't used it before, it's sort of got this cheesy umami flavor. It's flaky and powdery, and just delicious in recipes like this. So let's go, what did it say? 8 tablespoons. Okay, doesn't have to be perfect. And let's get the cashews toasting for a little bit. So 1 cup of raw cashews. Okay, they're not, I caught it. They're not roasted, they're not salted, they're just raw cashews, okay? And I have this little tray for my toaster oven with an old Silpat that I cut the silicone mat in there. I'm just gonna kind of spread it out and toast it just for like a minute or 2. Not very long. You don't want, oh, let's check the roasted veggies, and while that's cooking, let's check the tofu and the veggies. Okay, whew. I'm gonna make my eyelashes melt together. Can you see how pretty that's getting? Look at that. Okay, so I'm going to take a moment. Let's see. Here we go. To kind of, oh, some of them are sticking. Just kind of flip them over a little bit. They don't have to be perfectly flipped, like on all sides every time, but just, you know, just kind of bump them over so that they get a different angle. Oh, but they're looking so good. They've got toasted edges. They're sticking a little bit. I maybe could have put a little bit of maybe some olive oil on this, but that's all right. Not too bad. Do you see? Not bad. All right, so these are gonna go back in. I'm gonna keep going. Those probably need at least 10 more minutes. Let's check my veggies. All right, so now you can see Some of the veg, I know it's pretty steamy, but some of the veg is frizzling, like right there on that broccoli. The juices have dehydrated for the most part. What I'm gonna do is just kind of mix this around. Things are cooking up nicely. It's starting to smell really good too. I'm sure my husband can smell it upstairs, and I'm sure he's getting hungry. And I think what I might do right now, all right, that was the cashews. We got a lot of things going on here. Let's take a look at the cashews. So this guy's a little toasted, you can see. Not too bad. I might put that in there for, I'm gonna move it around a little bit. I might toss that in there for just maybe another minute. Okay, meanwhile, I'm gonna try to find my cooking shears. Yes. Okay, and I'm gonna cut up some, remember we cooked this broccoli, it was frozen, big chunks from a frozen bag from Costco. There's nothing on it, there's no olive oil or spices, just comes ready to go in the freezer section. It's this giant bag of frozen broccoli, it's amazing. But the one complaint I have about it, Costco if you're listening, the florets are too big. So you have to thaw it and then cut them up, or cook it like I'm doing and then halfway through kind of cut them up, because they're giant pieces. So, I mean, it's huge. So I'm gonna just kind of take my shears. I'm just gonna chop it while it's sitting right here on the mat and get this into some more bite-sized pieces. Also, I think they'll cook more quickly and frizzle up, and then they'll be ready to go for our bowls. All right, much better. That makes me happy. Those are a little bit more doable. All right, let's toss this back in and let's go for 10 minutes. If you're keeping count from the last videos, it's already been in for 20 minutes. So, but I put the veggies in first, the first 10 minutes went, and then I put the tofu in. This next 10 minutes will be 20 minutes for the tofu. I think that'll probably be perfect. This next 10 minutes will be 30 minutes for the veggies. But they were totally frozen, so they let off a lot of juices, and that had to cook off. So if you were cooking from fresh veggies, it would not need to go that long. So keep that in mind. All right, where did we leave off? Get my computer back on. Okay, we put the onion in, the cashews. Yeah, let's be done with that cashew. Let that cool for a second. We've got the nutritional yeast, cashews, garlic salt. So somehow I don't have garlic salt, but I do have garlic powder, and I have onion salt. So I'm gonna just mix it up. It calls for 2 teaspoons. So I'm gonna go with 1 teaspoon of that and 1 teaspoon, of onion salt, and maybe between the two, onion salt and garlic powder, it'll somehow come out. And then it also calls for, so in the Nourish Bowl, you'll see one of the categories, there's 6 categories, remember? And one of them is toppings, and it calls for things like salt and pepper or turmeric or cumin or these other amazing spices that are anti-inflammatory, and they make food taste so good. But I'm putting all of my spices in the sauce that I'm gonna use. The turmeric or turmeric, I don't know how you say it. I don't really care. I do what I want. This is my kitchen, right? Okay, 1 teaspoon of turmeric, and then about 1/4 cup of water as needed for desired consistency. So this is really important. It depends on what you're putting this on. We're pouring the sauce over a bowl made up of greens and roasted veggies and quinoa, and so, and probably some fresh tomatoes too. Ooh, I just thought of that. That'll be really good. Fresh tomatoes right on the top. That'll be part of our toppings. So I want it kind of liquidy, but not runny. Okay, so that's what I'm going for. And so I'm going to, I'll measure out about I don't know, 1/8 cup to start with, and just see how that goes. Oh, I need juice, and that's why also, because I need juice from a lemon. Let's move some of this stuff out of the way, toss it in the sink. I have this handy dandy lemon juicer. You can do lemons or limes depending on the size. And I'm gonna just juice that right in. Oh, that was a nice and juicy lemon. That's gonna be so good. Did you know that vitamin C helps in the absorption of iron? So if you're eating a meal with a main iron source, try to pair it with some vitamin C. So some citrus in your salad or something like that. Do not eat iron at the same time as you eat a calcium source because those two compete with each other. Just a little tidbit. Gotta keep you just learning here. That's what it's all about, right? Okay, what do I have? Oh, cashews, here we go. I'm just gonna toss my 1 cup of toasted cashews. There we go. I'm not a dainty cook, as you can tell. Okay. There we go. I have my bell peppers, carrot, onion, nutritional yeast, cashew, garlic, salt, onion powder, something like that. Turmeric, broth or water, and juice from a lemon. So I'm not gonna make you listen to this because, as you know, Vitamixes are so loud. I'm gonna turn it off and I'm gonna blend this up for about 6 to 10 minutes and I'll turn it back on at the very end and you'll see that it's hot and it's steaming and it's ready to go. Meanwhile, I'm gonna turn my quinoa on and get that going. Actually, I should do that right now. So, remember that I said I'm gonna pressure cook. And I think the instructions are, yeah, 1 minute. Nope. Okay. High pressure, 1 minute for the quinoa. So here we go. Stay tuned. I'll come back and I'll show you what the sauce looks like. But here's where it is. I'm just gonna put my lid on. And our Vitamix is really old. We've had it for probably, I don't know, almost 10 years. So it's, you might have to get the plunger to help it blend up, but